the show. Final hour Monday, and this is going to be a little bit confusing and disorienting for some people. Olin Buchanan, TexAgs, inside the Charles Schwab studio.
Confused
These Tuesdays.
and disoriented.
That's how I live my life. Normally, Olin is like Tuesdays at 1, and he'll be back to normally. But this Monday and next Monday, he'll be here at 1 o'clock, straight up inside the Charles Schwab studio. Aggie Fall Camp has 2 weeks left. And this Tuesday and next Tuesday, well, they got practice, they've got media things, and Olin has a job that requires him to be out there. So a week without Olin is like a week without beer. That's just not a world I'm going to live in. So Olin joins me now. Buchanan, TexAgs, TexAgs Live, TexAgs.com. Olin joins me now inside the Charles Schwab studio. How's your world, dude?
It's good. I want to ask you, Lou, if you're gonna catch this. So,
David, ask me about my brassiere.
No. You heard the show today.
The whole world has.
So David and I, and David's the health conscious workout guy all the time.
Nuno, TexAgs.
Right, David Nuno,
great dude.
And we were discussing our top 25 players for A&M.
Oh, the 25 for 25.
Yeah. And so,
which I love that feature every summer.
It was Ashton Bethel Roman today, and I said, talking about how good he is. I said, and we were talking about his stats. I said, ABR deserved a PBR.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
See, David's like public national radio or whatever. He's public.
That's
radio.
NPR. Yeah, that would be an NPR.
And I'm
sure.
Like, Pabst Blue Ribbon. It never would have occurred to him a cheap beer from the. Do they even still make that?
Yeah, they're never going to get rid of Pabst. Come on.
Well, I don't drink beer that much anymore, and it was cheap beer, right? So
that's an understatement. I don't know many beers cheaper than Pabst.
My dad drank it, so it had to be.
Wait, was your dad one of those people? Because, like, in the world of cheap beers, the people that talk about how expensive Lone Star are the standard of how cheap a beer is.
All I know is when I was a young lad.
So like 60, 70 years ago.
Well, closer than you might think you're to being right. But when I was a young lad, my dad would drink and watch football on Saturdays and Sundays, and he would always have either Schlitz or Pabst Blue Ribbon.
It's the bottom end. Yes,
they don't
the
make
absolute
Schlitz anymore, right?
No.
Somewhere you could find a
Wasn't
Schlitz.
Schlitz the one with the bull coming through the wall and then Lando Calrissian going smooth?
No, I think that was the malt liquor.
Isn't Schlitz malt liquor?
Well, that was beer. I think it had a malt. I don't know. My dad.
So what did David think it was?
He said National Public Radio, and I'm like,
that's NPR. Okay. I get it.
But I just thought, ABP, PBR. I was just trying to and
Pabst Blue Ribbon
and he
for life, old style for Cubs fans.
He would never. And then my dad moved up to Oregon. He drank Olympia. But anyway, I was saying that David could have thought about it all day, and he would have come up with Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Text message.
Okay.
From Jimmy, with my redneck, white socks and blue ribbon beer.
There you go.
So there you go. Holy cow. So last night, it's been a week. More fall ball, more fall camp. And I keep these simple because I know it's exhibition. I know it's just camp practice. But who have been the MVP since we talked in a week? Any other players emerging? Because you remember, the players that were emerging basically were wide receivers at the time.
Well, I think the guy that became almost a national internet sensation this week was Saka. I know you saw
every website, someone had to do a story on him. Once he made the freaks list, everyone else had to jump in.
Well, but they were. We had ESPN respond to a TexAgs tweet about him, and just saying, "Can we use it?" And everybody's looking at it and says, "It was so funny." I was watching the they call it threads, right? Or anyway, responses. I had to show them to Irma, and there's no way this kid this is a college kid. This guy is 46 years old with 4 kids and trying to make a.
That was Stephen McGee. That was our promo.
Now this was. But yeah, he said that too. But everybody, it was like it became a national thing. If you went on like Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and put Anto Saka, and you'll see these. It was everybody. It even came on what was it, Fox News. The
A&M has 47-year-old defensive edge rusher.
He's so he's a grown man, and then when you put the muscular frame that he has now. He's always muscular, but he even said that under Tommy Moffitt that he's gotten bigger and stronger, and that all of his numbers have spiked. Wow. So, and then I was watching a highlight from last year where he didn't get a sack, but he's rushing from the left side. He's wide, comes in, he makes contact with the other team. It's a Big Ten team. It might have been Purdue, but don't hold me to that. He makes contact and drives the tackle back into the quarterback who's trying to make the pass. So you know how sometimes the rushers will get his arm on the quarterback's arm and disrupt the pass? It's just an incompletion, right? It's the offensive tackle's back that distracts the quarter, or that hits.
It's an entire body,
because he basically picks the guy up and throws him into the. It was an amazing. It was an amazing highlight, and then I'm thinking, well, if this guy's bigger and stronger than that now, I know he only had 3 sacks at Northwestern last year. I don't know what all the dynamics were, but all the raves that are coming out from offensive players, defensive players, coaches, maybe this is going to be A&M's next great pass rusher. Because I think when you start thinking about A&M at least since they've been in the SEC, one thing you can almost count on is 2 things you can almost count on is a great pass rusher
and a horrible run defense.
I was going to say and an outstanding punt returner.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it's Anto Saka. So maybe he's the guy that for the last week was the big star, much like Terry Bussey was the week before.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because that's kind of the way it works. You know, because there's only like 3 practices in a week,
right?
And then someone
we only see
gets the spotlight, and again, it was the national story that then they go to TexAgs, and you guys. And again, for me, I remember the Stephen McGee thing. He was fascinated. He was marveling at how Saka looked. And Stephen McGee, obviously A&M, he played pros, and just looked at Saka and immediately was like, this guy is a bad man.
He looks like a guard dog to me. Just like I've known friends that have like a Doberman Pinscher they grew up, loving him and treating him real nice, and he's just a nice dog, and you don't even look at him and think anything scary about him. And then I've seen Doberman Pinschers that are like guard dogs, and you want to stay the heck away from him.
You look at Saka and the danger bells go off.
Yeah. Yeah, he's intimidating. Now, he's probably he went to Northwestern, so he's got to be smart.
So you're not saying to fear him in real life. You're just saying in a football sense.
I think he looks like he could be a very intimidating presence.
Yeah, I got you. You don't have to walk around and fear him if you're on campus.
But I've told him today I'm purposely going to be, if he's as good as he's projected that he might be, I'm purposely going to mispronounce his name to Saka.
I like that. That works.
Yeah. It's kind of like Joe Theismann changing his name to be pronounced Theismann instead of Thiesman, which it was just for a Heisman campaign. Saka. You
called it, right? You claim dibs on that? So, because other people steal it from you.
I don't care if they steal it. I'm going to use it.
You kind of have you've got to get modern, man. You got to claim your territory. What do you mean you don't care?
Or not? Is it a patent? That's not the right word. Trademark it. That's the right word. Trademark.
Look, you're the writer. This is yours. Don't let people in your territory.
I don't think that's required.
We already have internet people that are stealing videos and photos and claim it for their own. I see these wars.
Yeah, we've had that. We've had people do that with our TexAgs.
I'm sorry.
Stuff.
Yeah. Oh, other people. Sorry.
Yeah, we've had. Yeah, I see what you're trying to do there. But we've had people steal our photos and things like that, and then we have to remind them where they got it and. Anyway, but well, who do you think? If not Anto Saka,
Step up.
yeah.
Well, Marco Jones got a lot of the spring as someone who can go next level. But I agree with the one thing, the base nugget of what you're saying, that every year is someone. I agree with that. I do. Look, I expect someone to be the next first or second round NFL draft pick off the D-line.
Well, you think?
So I believe it's someone.
You think,
Why not Saka? He's obvious. And I mean that in a great way.
It went DeMontre Moore, and then a dip in 2013. They didn't have anybody, but then Myles
Zelko
Garrett.
here?
No, but then Myles Garrett. And then after Myles, surprisingly, was Landis Durham, who was better than anyone expected him to be. And then I guess that led us to I know I'm missing somebody, but I'm thinking then there's Scorton, but there was somebody between. Who was a really good pass rusher from an interior spot was Justin Madubuike. And then I think Michael Clemens was really good, and then I think Scorton was pretty good, and then Howell, and I know I'm still missing somebody. Then Howell, and now maybe it's Saka, maybe it's Saka and Jones. Maybe Saka and Jones will remind old timers of the Roper and Wallace Blitz brothers. And wouldn't you think that in an obvious passing situation, I just wonder if they don't make sure Saka and Jones is on the field at the same time, take out a tackle, keep DJ Hicks out there, and maybe shift TJ Searcy down to tackle.
I mean, there's going to be one. There's going to be someone, and it doesn't have to only be one.
And they're going to do all that stuff. And then Elko's going to blitz a safety from somewhere that no one's expecting
there you go.
it. And
there you go.
And that's where the sack's going to come.
Or if Ray Coney is this coast to coast, that tells me he has to be a factor on passing downs. Because if he can move like that, why can't he get up to the quarterback?
I watched Ray Coney, and it's a drill, right? But I say it should be easy because it's a drill, except I saw other guys weren't doing it. And what he's doing is, picture this. The whole idea is to rush against a blocker and try to block the ball. So he's rushing against a blocker. They have a coach playing quarterback, and he gets a certain amount of time, and he's supposed to put his hand up. But understand, he's rushing from the left side, so his body is going. It's not going dramatically, but it's going left to right. So he's moving to his right. Okay, he raises his hand. He deflects the ball. The ball deflects about 2 to 3 feet to his left, but he's moving to his right. Okay, follow me. He's able to stop his momentum, turn, reach out, and grab the interception probably
with momentum going the wrong way.
Probably 6 inches off his feet.
With momentum going the wrong way.
Yeah, his momentum's going one way. He stops and still first of all, he has the reaction and the quickness to get back over there and makes the interception. I don't know, it's just a drill, but it was such it's such a display of athleticism. I've seen him run. He's obviously fast. I think they might have. We'll see when they play. You don't become a great player in drills, but what I've seen from this young man is I think he might be everything that we heard. And it's not uncommon. We've seen it in A&M. We've seen it all over. These guys. To see a guy come from a smaller program and excel in the SEC, what those smaller programs like Tulsa don't have. Oh, sure, they'll have 1 or 2. They don't have 22. But if you can cherry pick a guy, and I think they got a good ripe cherry on when they got Ray Coney. I think he might be a really good player for them.
Text message going to the inbox. Okay. Kevin in BCS. By the way, anybody can text 979-693-1150. I always say you could text me, but Olin's here. Why would you text me? 979-693-1150. That kind of play OB described hasn't been seen since Reggie White got upset and threw a lineman at the quarterback in the exact same way because the lineman insulted him all game long. The lineman didn't say a word. White say a word to White the rest of the game.
Okay. I think I remember the play he's referring to. I can't remember the team. Hell, it might have been a young Larry Allen with the Cowboys, which it would have definitely been a young one. But
didn't Jadeveon Clowney at South Carolina have
probably the play I remember from Jadeveon Clowney wasn't even a sack. Do you remember they're playing Michigan in that bowl game, and he comes in and he hits the guy taking the handoff and knocks his helmet about three or 4 yards behind
The 10th row.
It looked like I watched it on film. I thought it was the most vicious hit I'd seen on film since James Caan got whacked in The Godfather. You like that? You like that line?
Godfather's my favorite
I've used
movie.
that line more than once, unfortunately.
You had
I'm
it
getting
so
old,
well.
I repeat myself.
What?
I'm getting old. I repeat myself. See, I just did it.
We'll be right back. It is the Louie Bellina Show. A timeout we will take. It is the Louie Bellina Show inside the Charles Schwab studio, the Monday edition. In uncertain times, Charles Schwab remains invested in their clients by offering personalized guidance and clarity. And it's personalized because we got Mark Sim, and he's right here in College Station. All he cares about you, me, Brazos Valley. He's not worried about, the model. He's not worried about New York, LA. You, me, Bryan, College Station. Go get answers to your questions. Just learn more at schwab.com/College Station.
Aggie football sounds even better online. Check it out at radioaggieland.com.
You never know what you're going to learn during the timeout of the Louie Bellina Show. We're talking music. Olin and I told him how REM was one of my favorite bands. Like, I've seen him in concert 5 times, and he drops the whole Michael Stipe attended Coppers Cove High School for a while.
I don't know if he graduated there or not.
We don't have his records.
When I was the high school lead writer, me and Cedric Golden were working together covering high schools for the American Statesman. And back then, the state basketball tournament, boys and girls were played at the old Irwin Center, right?
Right.
So what we would do on all the 20 teams that were coming in, we'd do it like a capsule. And one of the things we'd have on them, we'd talk about or we'd have lists their starting lineups and the stats and the interesting fact, like how many miles it is from their school to the Irwin Center. And one of the things we put like famous, and we had to change it to former student, because not everybody would graduate, right?
Right.
So you'd call the school, and I'm talking to some representatives, and they said, well, that lead singer from REM, Michael Stipe, he went to school there. I said, say no more.
That's all you needed.
That's all I needed.
He went to Coppers Cove for some length of time.
Yeah,
we don't know.
I'm sure his dad was probably in the Army and stationed over at the old Fort Hood. They call it something else different now, right?
Oh, everything's called, yeah.
But
that's pretty awesome.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And again, I'm a huge fan. I mean, don't ask me the why. Just I loved everything about them. So I'm in concert many times.
Are you losing your religion?
I lost. That's me in the spotlight. That's me in the corner, man. Are you crazy?
Nobody keeps Louie in the corner.
Nobody. 979-693-1150. You can text me, but text Olin. Olin Buchanan will be with me today. Obviously, he's here. He's not about to run out the door, I hope. He'll be back next Monday, and then after game week? Normal schedule for Olin. He'll be Tuesdays at 1, Tuesdays at 1, but he's got to work the next 2 Tuesdays. Is Elko tomorrow?
Yes.
So Elko's going to meet with the media.
I saw his schedule, and I think they may have Elko and
Holman
Wiggins, yeah.
Yeah.
Holman Wiggins has more energy every day than I have today, and I've got the energy just because I'm.
When he speaks, there's an intensity to it and a matter of factness to it.
Yeah, I like him. We'll see how he is as an offensive coordinator, but I'm very optimistic. I just had a conversation with him once. He talked about his approach, and people think because he's a wide receivers coach that means he's going to be airing it out all the time. He said that's absolutely not the case.
I have no clue. I'm just waiting for the games to see what it's going to be about.
Have you ever seen, and Dave and I talked about this today, there was a guy who does a really popular podcast called The Film Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Brooks Austin. Mm-hmm. And he had a breakdown a couple days ago on Marcel Reed. And he's like, why aren't they moving this guy around in the pocket? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? Why aren't they moving the pocket? Well, what do you know? When I was talking before this came out, when I was talking to Holman Wiggins, we're going to be moving the pocket. We're going to be moving around, using him in the RPOs and things like that. All the things that this guy's saying they should have been doing. I don't know why they didn't do that more last year. I think part of it was because they were in a position, we just really don't want to see what life's going to be like if he gets hurt. But it's always been my position that you're just as likely, if not more, as a quarterback to get hurt in the pocket than you are outside of it. And Marcel's a hard guy to hit. I've seen him take a good hit, like against Arkansas 2 years ago. He took a big hit and got right up. But more than that, I see him like faking guys out in the open field like he did against South Carolina on 4th and 12, or he did that. Remember his first start against Florida, and he faked this one kid out so bad his shoes were up on the goalpost.
The kid turned in his helmet at halftime.
He should have. Well, this was in the fourth quarter, but he probably should have been suspended for not targeting. And missed the first half of the next game. Man, he's a linebacker. You think he's gonna get a big hit? Marcel throws that right leg out, and he goes for it, and Marcel's going left. So Marcel's just a hard guy to hit.
It's weird. I have a base philosophy that anytime you coach from a place of fear, you're doing it wrong. So the whole thing about we're scared the quarterback's going to get hurt is coaching from fear. Now, I also have a reality-based element, and you want to run your quarterback 30 times a game, you're going to get him hurt. So I'm not 100% dumb, to be clear. If you run him 30 times a game, he'll get hurt eventually.
And I would say also teach Marcel to slide. When Kyler Murray was here for that 1 year, there were those
Aggie legend.
There were those on our
starting quarterback
on
for
our
the Vikings.
Boards. There were those on our boards that ridiculed him for sliding. I'm like, yes, slide. Don't take a hit. Johnny Manziel took a hit on the goal line. Remember that against Auburn? And he got hurt, and the rest of the season wasn't the same. Don't.
I would say you never slide on third down. You can slide every other down.
I would say, depending on the game.
If you're down by 50, yeah, sure. But if he's still in the game, that's on the coach.
But I'm saying if it's a game that early in the year, and I don't know,
if you're talking about
down,
against like Citadel and Missouri State, if you ever take a hit, I would then pull you because I don't need you. Yeah. That would be a lesson taught.
A punt's not necessarily a bad play.
Against certain opponents. Yeah.
Do I sound like a coach now? Punt's not necessarily bad.
You really do.
But, and I heard Blucci today saying that
Blucci,
Billy Lucci.
Oh, I know him. Yeah,
I've heard him say today that. Of course, I'm not seeing it, but that Tyler White is looking like he's back to what he was like 2 years ago. Remember, there were 2 years ago that, he was launching them. Last year, he's kind of an off year, and he had a couple blocked. But so if you got a guy who can be I'm not saying he'll be an all-conference punter, but like an all-conference caliber punter, then punt. Especially especially if you have a good defense.
I don't want to punt.
I don't want to. I never.
So I don't want to punt. I don't want to know my punter.
Right. I hope the punter never plays.
Nothing personal.
I hope the punter never plays.
I want him to only know how to angle and pin it within the 10.
Yeah, but remember Brady.
Because I don't want to go 3 and outs. I want a couple first down. I just want angling.
Has anybody ever seen a more well placed punt than Tyler White had against Missouri 2 years ago? Was that not perfect? The only bad thing about it was with like 1 minute left in the first half, so you knew Missouri wasn't going to try to score anyway, right? You didn't get anything out of it. But good Lord, that was amazing. Okay, what's next on the list of the topics of discussion?
There are no topics. It's Aggie football.
Nobody wants to hear me talk about the punter for the next 30 minutes.
You went there, not me. Just for the record, anybody that wants to blame specialty, that's an OB thing.
I remember I want to have a good punter. I want to have a great punter. I want Braden Manning.
And never use them.
And never use them. I remember when Baylor had the punter on the cover of their media guide one year. Back when media guides used to be sent out.
That's when you know it's bad.
So you know it's.
That's when you know it's bad.
You know how you know you've watched a terrible bowl game is when the punter was the MVP. You remember that the Texas punter? I think he's with the Seahawks now, and he was the MVP. The punter was the MVP of the Texas.
It wasn't Justin something, was it?
No, I think.
Okay.
I want to say.
I'm sorry, I'm not up to date on my Longhorn
punters. Does Michael
punters.
Dixon sound right?
Sure.
But you might know the punter of the Seahawks. I think it's Michael Dixon. Anyway, he was the MVP. That's hilarious. Of the Texas Bowl. I think they played Arkansas.
Gripping. It had to be a gripping bowl game. That just, punter's MVP. Woo!
Yeah.
That's 7 hours of your life you can't get back.
So I want a great punter, but I never want him to play.
Right. No, that's exactly right. I hate to say it. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
A&M was 9 in the coaches, that today we find out they're 8 AP.
Okay.
Too high, too low, just right? Don't care.
Don't care. But if you say, hey, Olin, you have to answer that question, I'm still going to say too high. I thought I would like to see him around 13 to 15. And I've said this all along and I know all what I'm hearing. The what do you say? The reviews, the early reviews are really good. But until I see with my own eyes that offensive line is playing at a top 10 level,
then
I'm going to have to be apprehensive. And that if I wasn't, I would be being very disingenuous, because when like last year, my big knock on LSU at this time, I say, I see LSU's a top 10 team. I don't get it. Why? Because they lost 4 starting offensive linemen that were all drafted. Well, A&M lost 4 offensive linemen that were all drafted. Now, LSU had the top transfer class in the country last year, and a big part of it was they got an offensive lineman out of Northwestern, and they got
but they had a really bad coach.
There you go. So I'm not willing to say, well, it's going to be the same at A&M as it was at LSU.
We don't have any film of Elko dancing with recruits, right? Not
dancing, not trying to talk with a Southern accent, none of that.
See the difference already?
Already. I'm optimistic, but I think I don't want to be inconsistent when I'm asked about my opinion. So when I say things about, well, I'm always going to be concerned about an offensive line that's rebuilt until I see them together playing well. If I always said that about like LSU last year and Texas last year and other teams in the past, but then I say when A&M's in the same position, I say, no, it'll be okay.
Then you'd be called a homer.
Right.
Then you'd be, you'd be called out for the inconsistency.
So I remember having a conversation with Gabe Bach one time, and I said,
Count Bocula.
Yeah, I remember, I don't know if he would remember this conversation, but I remember saying the only thing that separates us from being, and mean the media, from being fans with good access is our objectivity. So you have to be objective, because I don't ever want to be in a situation where I say, I think this Ray Coney guy is going to be the real deal. And they say, oh, yeah, he says that about everybody. I want him to be able to say, look, I don't know about the offensive line until I see it. And people, or if I see a guy that I don't think, like, for instance, I don't like to single out guys at A&M, but you have to be true to your job sometimes, right? And so, for instance, I used to hear Tariq Chappelle at Nickelback. Man, he was. I never really got it. Now, and I was thinking, well, coaches are looking at things that I'm not seeing because they know more and they know what to expect, yada, yada, yada. But I just never saw it. In fact, when Tariq Chappelle was out of now 2 years ago, I saw it. He got hurt, remember, and I saw it. But last year, when I guess he got hurt, and then the kid from Washington, Jordan Shaw, came in, I never even noticed. I never noticed Chappelle wasn't. In fact, I think that position got more productive. So what I'm trying to say is I don't want to be that guy that says, oh, everything's always good, everything's always fine, because I don't want people that hear me to say, oh, he always says that. I want it to think, oh, if he says it, then he really thinks it must be true. It doesn't mean it will be. I'm still wrong sometimes.
Well, wait,
it's
what?
True. It's true.
No.
I have been.
No one's going to believe that.
Yeah, in fact, one time I thought I was wrong, but I wasn't, so I was wrong. So, no, but I just, so always be objective and always try to be consistent.
More with Olin Buchanan when we return. Text message numbers 979-693-1150. Matter of fact, when we return, we'll start with the text message. Go inside the inbox. 979-693-1150. This is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, community. It's the Louie Bellina Show, Monday on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
The Louie Bellina Show. He has the barbecue and beer. Just show up at 1420.
Morning.
Sorry, you can't give out his address.
That's funny.
You just show up and listen in. Weekdays 11 to 2 on the Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, residential and commercial and industrial services. What they do at CC Electric. The Louie Bellina Show. I'm joined inside the Charles Schwab studio Olin Buchanan, he'll be back next Monday at 1. And then game week. Olin's back to Tuesdays for the next 32 months or whatever we end up doing.
However long you want me, dude.
He says that. Watch. One day he'll be like, you know what? I've had enough. I can't take it. I'm tired of talking to you. Tired of you just, your agendas. And
there is never a bad time to talk about college football.
No arguments. Told people, they're like, you're working. I'm like, sure. That's what you want to call it. Talk college football, talk Astros, talk Aggie baseball. And
are you a Texans fan?
Oh, no.
No?
No. Steelers.
Okay. Well, I knew you like Steelers, but sometimes you can like two teams.
Steelers, Packers.
Okay.
The Packers
because the Texans, it seems to me.
I don't hate the Texans for the record, by the way.
I'm ambivalent.
I have no beef with them.
It seems to me their issue is what? The offensive line.
And that is, remember something, because I'll talk about the Texans. Every Friday at 1, Josh Kendall, who used to be with the State and their South Carolina beat writer.
I know him.
Josh Kendall, who's now with The Athletic, and he's their NFL guy. Every Friday at 1, he's going to join me, and we're going to do our NFL.
I know Josh. He used to be my South Carolina guy when I needed to find something out about South Carolina.
You had a guy?
Yeah. Unfortunately, some of my guys are no longer with us.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Well, like the late great Bob Holt. When I needed something from Arkansas, I'll call up Bob. Hey, Bob.
Great person.
Back in the day, A&M was always playing South Carolina, and I would call Josh. Hey, Josh, can you give me some inside info on South Carolina?
I remember I emailed Mitch and Braden and said, I want an NFL guy. Because when Studio 12 Live ended, I knew I needed Wednesdays at 1, Fridays at 1, 2 hours. And I thought to myself, what's the number one thing I don't do or have on the Louie Blanche? I said NFL. People love the NFL.
No, I do.
And I said, I don't have almost any. So I knew I needed expanded. So I emailed Mitch and Braden and said, you guys know anyone? And Mitch, he said, our NFL guy. And when he said Jessica, I directly went back to Mitch. I go, why do I know his name? And he went, the State. And I went, 2, 3, 4 times. Yeah. He joined me, talked, Gamecock football. And I called him, we talked, and I went, you recognize his accent and voice anywhere.
Sure.
Great guy. I'm very much looking forward to these.
Good reporter.
Yep. I'm very much looking forward to these. Have a text message for you.
Okay, what is it?
Oh, it's for us. Jason in Georgia.
In Georgia, okay.
No, hold on. Louie, I met you years ago at Foul Digits. Olin listened to all of y'all every day in Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, nice town.
Yeah. I could not take it anymore. Officially moved to BCS area on Saturday, starting a new chapter of my life with you guys.
I was the beautiful Irma Buchanan and I were on
I've met her.
Yes, you have.
Awesome people.
We're on a rooftop bar in Savannah, Georgia, when Louie called me and said, hey, when you get back to work, because I was taking some vacation off, he said, I want you to start, this was like 6 years ago, I want you to start covering A&M baseball for the rest of the season. Okay. And they ended up going to the College World Series that year. So that's one of the things I'll always remember, that conversation when I talk about when Savannah is mentioned. But it's a great town, great food.
Georgia's a great state.
Area. I love Georgia. Very, very wooded, very green, just like Alabama. Anyway,
good luck. Good luck. That's it. Jason, welcome back, and best of luck to you. And thanks for listening, and thanks for making us a part of just your world.
We're going to talk about, you're going to able to listen to people talk about the Aggies all day instead of about the Bulldogs of Georgia.
That's one thing in Georgia. They have pro teams, so I'm sure he's got his Braves and Falcons in.
Yeah, when I've been in Georgia, I've gotten the feeling that Georgia Bulldogs are bigger than the Falcons.
No. Seriously?
Yes.
Huh.
In football, yeah. Well, obviously, football.
I didn't think you were talking about hockey.
I've gotten that feeling that, whereas I don't have that same feeling when I lived in Tennessee, and maybe it's because I was
Titans bigger than Volunteers,
Titans
for sure.
Are bigger than Volunteers. Overall, but maybe it's because I was living in the Nashville area and nobody cared about Vanderbilt at that time. And I did know some Vol fans that lived in my neighborhood, but they were, the Titans were the biggest thing going. I don't think maybe I'm dead wrong on this, but I got the feeling that the Georgia Bulldogs were like in Louisiana. Is Are the Saints a bigger deal than LSU? I don't know. It doesn't seem to me.
I bet you that's going to be. That is a brutally awesome question. In the state of Louisiana, are the Saints a bigger deal than LSU? Because I'm going to say yes. I think that's going to be depending on where you are in the state.
Well, I'm going to have to talk to somebody who's.
Ask someone that knows.
Yes. I don't know. Like Moscona or somebody like that, you know.
I have a text message here.
Okay.
Do you think this team has the depth to handle November? Do you think Aggie football has the depth to handle November? Well, I think, can I throw in my quickest first, and you can have the long answer. I think with the new 9-game schedule, I think a lot of SEC teams are going to find out. I think 9 was a mistake, but we do have 2 bye weeks, which is heaven.
I think that I think there's only 1 bye week this year.
Is it 2?
Does it?
Oh, you got the Aggie football schedule right in front of you.
There you go.
No, you got it. What are you getting it to me for?
Because I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, God, give it back to me then. Old blind people.
I'll say this, that I know that Mike Elko feels like, for instance, in the offensive line, they have more depth than they had last year. I don't know if they have as much depth in the defensive line as they had last year, but they got a lot of young guys that are talented. Maybe they're going to, depends on how they come along. I think they're very deep in the secondary. If Damian Sanford comes back strong, I think they're going to be depth. They're going to have sufficient depth at linebacker. There's plenty of depth at wide receiver. There's some, I think, how's that sound? I think they have good depth at running back. I think they do. But a lot of that is based on some guys we haven't seen yet. Yeah, so I think overall they have pretty good depth.
It's 1 bye week. And it's the October 24th Bama bye week, and then November
Halloween
starts at South Carolina. So it is 1.
So Halloween.
Because the season starts so late.
Which means, what am I going to do that Halloween, the 31st, is a Friday, and the Aggies are off? I'm either going to be at South Padre or I'm going to be in Lake Charles at the sports book.
For Halloween.
Well, how crazy would that be?
Sports book Halloween. I think you've I don't know what other options you'd want.
Well, you know, Mrs. Buchanan is going to have I like to say that I wear the pants in that family.
Sure.
And what I say goes. But
well, half of that's right. But you wear pants.
I give her I take into consideration her druthers.
Again, you wear pants. You have half that statement right.
But I'll be in one of those 2 places.
Olin Buchanan, Louie Bellina inside the Charles Schwab studio Monday on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Back to what you're looking at.
I'm ready for what you're going to say next.
Calm down. You just got this intense look, and you don't have that very often.
Well, football season's getting close. The closer it gets, the more intense I get.
Holy cow, not me. I've been so happy I can't get intense.
I'm ready, man.
I'm just so happy I can't get intense.
I want to be the old man version of Anto Saka. I mean, the real old man version of Anto Saka.
So you're going to knock a microphone so hard it goes back into the control board?
Well, it would have to be a microphone and nothing else.
Rusty Burson has weighed in. The Saints one. I'm kind of surprised.
Okay.
If you have ever been in the French Quarter after a Saints game, you would say the Saints are bigger than LSU, at least in New Orleans, which that's home base. That makes sense, right?
Okay.
So at least in the city of New Orleans, it's Saints overall.
Here's what I kind of think.
Okay.
I think overall in the state, and I could be dead wrong, but I know a lot of people like in the northern Louisiana part that's Cowboys fans. I know a lot of them. I think it's probably depends on how successful the Saints are that year.
That's always true with pro teams. It's one of those things I hate about pro sports. Because if a team is... Okay, that's true of all pro teams where the fans are not loyal like that. They don't go just to go. If a team is bad, they're out.
But you know what? I think the Cowboys are always the number one team, much to the chagrin of people in Houston. In Texas, overall, even more. I mean, we got the Longhorns, we got the Aggies, we got the Red Raiders. You know, we got in our state. There's so many.
It's always Cowboys. Look at the history. They have decades upon decades, and 5 rings.
I don't know if it's the same thing in Georgia or Louisiana.
They don't have the rings.
They got one in
right, but Cowboys have 5. Is it 5 still?
5.
Right, 5 rings.
It's been
spread out over how long?
It's been like 5 for the last 40 years.
Jerry Jones era.
for instance, Philadelphia is always, I'm sure the Eagles and or the Steelers are always bigger than Penn State.
Facts.
Okay. But I'm not sure that, say, let me think of another place that has a pro team and a good. I'm not sure the Browns or Bengals are bigger than Ohio State Buckeyes.
Man, this is a fascinating question because I think they are, despite how miserable they both are, because pro teams rule for the most
I've
part.
known some people from Ohio.
Oh no, me too. I used to go to Cleveland every summer, and it wasn't forever, but like 5-6 years for this just 5 day long golf thing, family thing, and man, that is a tough one too.
Yeah,
I have a text message for you. One. OB wears the pants, but she tells him what pair to wear.
Well, there's a lot of truth in that, too, but it's mainly because I ask her opinion because she has a much better fashion sense than I do. But I think she might have given up on me a long time ago in that regard.
She just realized it doesn't matter.
So I just wear your shorts and go.
Olin, thank you.
Are we done?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I will visit you again next Monday.
I'll see you next Monday, buddy.
Dude, be awesome, man.
I'm going to try.
I appreciate the company always.
All right. Well, you got some dogs coming up next?
It's not Tuesday.
Oh, that's right.
It's Monday.
No Monday dogs.
Don't leave. Olin's like trying to sprint out of the Show Swap studio. Just don't leave. Hang around for a second.
All right.
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. When we return, we got to say bye-bye. We wrap up the Louie Bellina Show on a Monday. The Louie Bellina Show. Presented by CC Electric on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Can't reach your radio? Listen to Aggie Football online at RadioAggieland.com.